Hello everyone, and welcome to another News Coolum video and another Electrify America has done it again. Um, so, well, I guess let's just start off here. I did not choose to use this EVgo charger at the Black Bear here in Willows first. It was thrust upon me. So I thought, I'm doing another one of the vet runs. I have a few of the cats down with the vet right now, getting fixed. And so I needed to do some shopping anyway. Figured, okay, well, I'll be at the Walmart. I'll plug in and then just do my normal quick shopping run and juice up enough that, yeah, maybe I'll have to juice up maybe later in Orland when I go pick the cats up again. But, this will be enough for me at least to get home and then get back down again. Well, this session literally stopped within 3 minutes of my activating it. It was basically just long enough for me to start the session and then get away from the car, walk in the store where I don't have cell service, and before it canceled, right? So now there was no one at the station when I got there. To be completely fair to Electrify America, there was nobody at the station when I got there. As I was leaving, there was someone else there in a different electric vehicle who was also leaving. So is it possible that that person, when they arrived, stopped my charger? Maybe. Is it possible that the guy that was standing back there for a smoke break stopped the charger? Possibly. But I find that like really unlikely. I think it's Electrify America. It more than likely canceled and aired out, and because of the amount of time that I was in the store, it started charging an idle fee. So I think I was there all told maybe 20-25 minutes, and by the time I got back, it had charged me, I think, $6 in an idle fee. And I normally don't do this, but I ended up calling customer service, and this is just, again, another reason why it took me 5 minutes to connect to a person. I was on hold for another 5 minutes, and there was no resolution. So when that's how you handle your customer service, when your chargers aren't, that great to begin with, they aren't that reliable to begin with, and then, I went off on a bit of a rant. Maybe I should intersplice it here. Please don't contact me. Can you just put a note in there to cancel my account? I don't want to do business with you guys anymore. This experience is the nail in the coffin. I was using your station because it was convenient, and it canceled out on me while I was shopping. Now I don't have enough energy to get home. It's charging me an idle fee for energy I didn't use for a session I didn't cancel. And this has been a recurring problem with Electrify America for several years now. So now I have food that's going to risk going bad, and I'm going to have to drive across the street and use a different network provider that doesn't let me down because you guys have failed every single time. So just put a note in there, cancel my account. If you refund me, that's great. If not, oh well, I guess that's a tax that I get for doing business with you guys. You're missing the point. Like the $6 idle fee is not the point. The point is I rely on these chargers to be able to make it to different places, and I'm in the middle of shopping and I have a charger shut down on me. That shouldn't happen, right? And this has been a recurring issue with Electrify America. The app has been terrible. The experience has been terrible. I feel like this is just the last time that I can justify using these chargers, and so I want to cancel my account. Well, I feel like Electrify America has failed me for the last time. I could plug in and charge here again. In fact, normally that's what I would have done. But it still didn't clear out my idle fee. I think it's finally cleared out now. If I plugged in, I could probably get this charger to work again. But it literally charged for 3 minutes, just long enough for me to get into the store where I have no cell service. And then it canceled the charge. And then by the time I got back, I already had $6 in idle fees accrued. So that's just really not the way that Electrify America should be doing business. I was already on the fence about canceling my Electrify America plan. And this is basically just the nail in the coffin. There's no reason for me to use them. And I think this rep missed my point is there shouldn't have to be an investigation and an escalation. And this is something we had talked about on Coast to Coast EVs too, is this is a site that Walmart is choosing to host. As a business, they've allocated space in their parking lot for Electrify America to use. And if you're going to cancel out a session and trigger idle fees while someone is in the store shopping and patronizing the business that's hosting your chargers, there shouldn't be an escalation. There shouldn't be idle fees, period, right? This is something that if someone is a customer of the business location and their session ends, oh, well, it ends, right? And look, I don't want to say maybe the guy in the Tesla that happened to be charging here stopped my session, or the random, guy who was standing on the grassy knoll watching over the chargers hit the charge, hit the dispenser and stopped my charge. Maybe it could have. But that's almost not even my point, right? Like, Electrify America shouldn't have to escalate. This is the first time I've ever contested an idle fee. This is the first time I've ever had an idle fee. He had me on hold for over 6 minutes to look at my account and then comes back and says it needs to be escalated. Again, right, their app is terrible. Their hardware is outdated. They have a bad fee structure. They're not necessarily in the greatest locations. They're just not necessarily needed anymore. This is just a convenient location for me to stop at while I'm taking the cats to the vet to get fixed and doing my shopping. And now I have frozen food. Luckily, it's a cool day and I have a cooler. But I'm on the clock. And because of my solar system not being able to fully charge my car up all the way, and even if it were, making that trip back and forth in a day would require me to use a public charger, I thought, I would do something to be convenient. And then, 3 minutes of charge, and Electrify America canceled my session and then decided to charge me an idle fee. And they can't even verify that it was an error within their own machine. So I'm going to drive across the street, use an EVgo, just so I have enough that I can get back and forth, because like I said, I need to run back down and pick up the boys after they've been fixed again. So this is basically another 75 miles. Well, sorry, this is another 120 miles that I need to drive within the next 6 hours. So, and that's with doing all of the other chores and errands and shopping and things that I have to do. So Electrify America really knows how to ruin a party. And yeah, I think this is official. I can't condone doing business with a company that functions this way. They're now on my naughty list, yeah, I'm just not gonna use them anymore. Canceling my account today. Maybe they refund me, maybe they don't. At this point, I don't even care. But I'll say it again. When a business when Walmart has hosted your chargers, they've allowed you to put your chargers in at their business location for their customers to use. If that's the customer experience that you are providing, that is the customer service experience that Walmart is providing. And I don't think that that's something that they're interested in. The fact that there are idle fees at all at a Walmart hosted Electrify America location is a big problem. Walmart's network doesn't offer idle fees, right? Because if their customers are in the store, they're in the store, they're shopping, right? They're not doing something else. So if a charge session ends early, well, that's not the customer's fault if they're in the store shopping, right? That's Electrify America's fault, right? So this idea that I was at 20% battery and decided to charge for 3 minutes and then leave my car plugged in shouldn't require an escalation, right? And so now here I am just ranting and trying to juice up enough, like I said. So in this case, I can't really count on adding any appreciable amount of energy at home. With solar right now, and it's overcast, we have a storm coming in. You know, even when I'm hooked up directly to the grid and charging at 6 kilowatt, this is a trip that I often end up having to use some DC fast charger to make, unless I've charged all the way to 100%, because like I said, this is about a 230, 240 mile round trip normally. So now I have groceries, I'm charging at a 50 kilowatt charger, so that's an extra 10-minute penalty for whatever I end up charging compared to using a faster charger. But yeah, I think I am officially now done with Electrify America. They might or might not reimburse me that $6. I don't care anymore. I think it's just not worth it to maintain a membership with them. And you know, if I happen to review a station, I'll just bite the bullet and I'll pay with a credit card. It's an extra few cents to use a credit card and not have a membership or an account. And then of course, if it doesn't work, I can berate them even more, right? Because most of the chargers that I'm using, at least in California, are required to have a payment terminal, and that payment terminal needs to work. So otherwise, yeah, like I said, I'm just not that happy about my experience with Electrify America. This is the first time I've called their customer service, I want to say, in almost 5 years. And as I recall, I was making a trip back and I stopped at, I think it was the Los Robles station, and there was another Bolt EV owner there. We were kind of going tit for tat. We met up at the Prunedale Recargo at the time, I believe it still was, and we met up again in Los Robles, and only 2 of the 4 chargers were working. I made the mistake of calling customer service when, you know, the charger I attempted to use wouldn't work, and that was like 30 minutes. Literally, by the time I had actually spoken to a representative, I was already charging on another charger, and I just basically had to say, hey, look, I already figured it out. I just moved to a different charger. In this case, I'm not moving to a different charger at Walmart, or trying to reactivate that same charger again at Walmart just so I can pay Electrify America more money for a service that they should have just provided the first time, right? So just not very happy with the experience overall. And like I said, we've gotten to the point now where there are just too many other options to be bothered with a network that is both unreliable and doesn't offer supportive customer service, right? There's just no reason for that. And I mean, I think literally the only justification I had left for maintaining an Electrify America app, an account, was that the Pass Plus membership is still generally cheaper than everybody else. But if you take away the monthly fee, I don't know that it is fully, right? Especially not when you compare what EVgo would be with their monthly fee, or what Tesla would be with their monthly fee, right? I live in an area with just too many diverse, different CPOs to have to put too much stock in any single CPO. And I also live in a state that requires CPOs to offer payment at the terminal, payment at the point of sale. And so a membership here really isn't a requirement, shouldn't be. And the only reason you're doing an app at that point is because you can't get your payment readers to be reliable, right? You know, you maybe want to pull someone into your ecosystem so that they have to use your chargers, and you do a monthly membership to sort of compel that usage. But here it's just not necessary, right? It's at this point. So suffice to say, I am frustrated with Electrify America more so than I've ever been. And you know, like I said, with EVgo, and it's been 99% first time activation. Pilot Flying J has been 100% first time activation. Electric Era, I had one payment reader failure, and I moved to another charger, started charging immediately. The next time I came to that site, the payment reader was fixed. Yeah, it's just, and other than that, Electric Era has been 100% first time activation success. There was a bug one time where I actually didn't put my card in all the way, and it gave me an error immediately on screen. Reinserted my card, worked right away. So when you have a bunch of networks that are all offering near 100% first time activation success rates, like I said, a poor customer experience and poor reliability, it just it Electrify America turned what was supposed to be a super convenient, seamless opportunity charge while I was shopping at Walmart into it actually added aggravation and stress. And perhaps it's because I had to wrangle up, you know, 5 unruly little cats and didn't even have time for coffee this morning. Maybe I'm just being a little extra ornery, but yeah, I think this is the nail in the coffin. I'm not flirting with ending my Electrify America app and membership anymore. I'm just done. And then, like I said, I'll have to see if I decide to do charging site reviews, whether I'll do that much of an emphasis on Electrify America. They do make some compelling sites, and if you can get their hardware to work, they're not bad, but they're just, at this point, this is just too aggravating of an experience for a company that was really founded to promote the adoption of electric vehicles, and it's basically been the exact opposite that's been happening. You know, there are still people who will refuse to use 4 dispenser sites simply because of their experience with Electrify America, right? That's not. There's a lot of people who have given up on EVs because of Electrify America. Again, that's not something that should be happening. That's not something that we want to see happening. So anyway, I think maybe I have enough juice. Like I said, the problem is I need to make a round trip, and I can't really count on adding that much range at all while I'm at home. So yeah, just not that happy with Electrify America right now. So I think this is the end. I think this is it. It's been a good run. This is my breakup message. And maybe, cross your fingers, maybe I'll get my $6 in idle fees back. $6. That's $2, but inflation, yeah, so frustrating. Anyway, yeah, I think that's it. I think I was going to keep it short. I had some other video topics that I wanted to talk about, and maybe I should have done those instead, but now I'm not really in the mood. I'll save them for another charging stop, another plug side chat. So as always, kids, stay frosty. Thank you for watching.